April 30th, 1943, 4:52 a.m. Huelva, Spain. The waves roll in gently, barely a whisper against the sand. Dawn hasn't fully broken yet, just a pale silver glow stretching across the Atlantic horizon. Fisherman Jose Antonio Rey is the first to see it, shape, half buried by foam, tangled in seaweed, drifting lazily with the tide. He squints, takes a step closer, then another. It's a man. A uniformed officer of the Royal Marines, soaked, limp, and face down in the shallows. You can almost feel Jose's breath catch because, in this moment, the world has not yet realized what this corpse will unleash. This single body will warp the decisions of entire armies. How it will twist the hand of Adolf Hitler himself. Jose stumbles toward the body, reaching with trembling fingers. A leather briefcase is handcuffed to the man's wrist, still intact, still sealed, despite the churning Atlantic. It looks important, urgent, dangerous. The air feels colder for a moment. He turns the body over, and the dead man's face, swollen, waterlogged. Pale stares up at the morning sky with the eerie stillness of those long drowned. A name tag clings to the tunic. Major William Martin, Royal Marines. A decorated courier. A man who is clearly trusted to carry sensitive documents. But Jose cannot know that nothing about this man is real. Not his name, not his mission, not even his life. He calls the local authorities, unaware that he has just triggered one of the greatest deception operations in military history. As Spanish officers arrive, many secretly loyal to the Axis, they crowd around the corpse. Boots press into the sand, flashlights flicker over the swollen face. The briefcase draws every eye like an irresistible gravity. The Spanish captain in charge gives a slow nod. "Take him," he orders. "Germany will want to see this." And so the body of Major Martin is carried away. Wrapped, tagged, logged, but not yet understood. Meanwhile, across Europe, in a cramped, smoke-filled room in London, two British intelligence officers wait in perfect stillness. Ewen Montagu, Charles Chumley, architects of a deception no one believes will work. A clock ticks, a radio hisses. The atmosphere feels like a coiled spring. Montagu glances at the coded message in his hands. Body recovered, in Spanish custody. He reads it twice. 3 times. This is the moment. Either the Axis takes the bait, or the entire Allied invasion of Sicily collapses before it even begins. Montagu exhales. Now he murmurs, "We wait." But the wait is not gentle. Because inside the briefcase they crafted inside the carefully folded documents, the forged memos, the intimate love letters, the fake bank statements, the carefully planted ticket stubs, they have hidden a lie so bold, so outrageous that even British generals thought it too risky. A lie claiming the Allies will invade Greece, not Sicily. A lie carried on the wrist of a man who never existed. A lie now traveling through the hands of the Spanish military, toward the eager ears of the German Abwehr. But London can only hope. Hope that the Spanish share everything with Berlin. Hope that the Germans don't sense the trick. Hope that the body looks convincing. Hope that the deception holds. And then another message arrives. Documents accessed. Montagu stands frozen. Chumley sets down his cigarette, watching the ash fall. Somewhere in Spain, someone opened the briefcase. This is it, the turning point. If not, thousands of Allied soldiers will walk straight into a slaughter. Back in Huelva, Spanish intelligence officers whisper over the papers. German agents hover close by, pretending not to stare. The corpse lies in a morgue drawer, silent. But the storm he carries is growing louder by the hour. One officer leans closer to the documents. He taps the map. Greece, Sardinia, these landing coordinates. He frowns. Then his expression shifts. Confidence, satisfaction. He believes it. He believes the lie. And without hesitation, he passes the entire file, every page, to a German contact. By afternoon, the papers are racing across Europe via diplomatic courier, landing on the very desk of Adolf Hitler within days. But what will he do? What will he decide? Will he see the truth hiding beneath the ink? And then a single command, a single order that will change everything. But what that order is remains unknown. For now. May 1943, Berlin. A rainstorm lashes against the Reich Chancellery. Windows like a warning, the heavens themselves are trying to deliver. Inside, under dim yellow lights, a leather portfolio lies open on a polished table. Around it stand the most powerful men in Hitler's military machine: General Jodl, Admiral Dönitz, Field Marshal Keitelich, leaning in. Brows tight, breath held. And at the head of the table, Adolf Hitler, hunched forward, finger tracing the Allied invasion plans recovered from the drowned British courier. Greece, he mutters. Not Sicily. His voice barely rises above a whisper, yet every man in the room feels the weight of it. Outside, thunder rolls. Inside, fate shifts. But to understand why he believes the lie, you must feel the paranoia of the moment. The Eastern Front is bleeding. Rome is pleading for help. The Africa Corps has crumbled. And Hitler, desperate for clarity, wants intelligence he can cling to. So when the documents from Major William Martin, peer documents verified by his Abwehr agents, he seizes on them like a drowning man grasping at driftwood. Keitel clears his throat. My Führer. The courier died accidentally, drowned. The briefcase was retrieved by neutral authorities. The documents are genuine, Hitler says sharply, cutting him off. Psh. You can almost feel the tension ripple across the room. It dares contradict him now. The Allies want us to believe Sicily, Hitler continues, tapping the papers. They know it is the logical target. This he lifts the forged memo. This proves they are moving on Greece. Jodl exchanges a subtle glance with Keitel. Doubt, hesitation, but neither speaks. Because the one thing Hitler trusts more than his generals is his own instincts. And his instincts tell him the corpse from Spain is telling the truth. Meanwhile, 1,500 miles away in London, Ewen Montagu sits hunched over a radio, listening to every scrap of intercepted chatter. A young signals officer enters, handing him a decrypted message from the British codebreakers at Bletchley Park. Montagu reads it once. Then again, his heart hammers. German forces in Greece are reinforcing coastal defenses. He exhales shakily. Chumley looks up. They bought it. Montagu nods. They bought all of it. The room dark, thick with cigarette smoke feels suddenly electric. An audacious hope turns into reality. Operation Mincemeat is working. Back in Berlin, Hitler paces. His finger drags across the Aegean Sea, then lands on Greece. This is the moment the war tilts. Because every tank moved east, every artillery piece shipped across the Balkans, every soldier marched toward Athens, is one fewer defender waiting in Sicily. But inside the German intelligence service, not everyone is convinced. Colonel Alexis von Roen of the Abwehr studies the documents late into the night. He leans back in his chair, frowning at the courier's letters, love notes drafted by MI5 typists, theater ticket stubs tucked into a wallet, bank statements giving the dead man a believable financial life. It is too perfect, von Roen whispers. He knows spies often craft identities with care. But real life is messy, so the Abwehr will confirm Greece. In authoritarian regimes, intelligence bends to the dictator, not the truth. Von Roen closes the folder with a sigh. This will be our undoing, he murmurs. But he signs the confirmation anyway. One more weight on the scale of deception. Meanwhile, in Spain, a different kind of unease settles in. The body of Major Martin is prepared for burial. Spanish officials, some sympathetic to Germany, others to the Allies, debate quietly among themselves. Was this all too convenient? Was the dead officer truly a victim of drowning? The medical examiner noticed inconsistencies, lungs that didn't quite look waterlogged enough. But under diplomatic pressure, files the report as requested. Cause of death, accidental drowning. The coffin is sealed. Flags are arranged. Honor guards stand at attention. The deception becomes complete. In London, Montagu receives confirmation of burial. He stares at the telegram for a long, silent moment. That's it, he whispers. No going back now, because once the body is in the ground, once the lie is buried with it, the entire weight of the coming Allied invasion hinges on whether the Germans continue believing the deception. A knock breaks the silence. A courier rushes in, waving a fresh intercept. Montagu opens it. His blood runs cold. German High Command orders? Sicily is a feint. Primary Allied target. Greece. He sets the paper down. Chumley closes his eyes. It worked. It really worked. But the consequences, the scale of the miscalculation by the Axis are about to erupt on the shores of Sicily in a way none of them can yet imagine. Because while Hitler diverts entire armies to Greece, 150,000 Allied troops are already sailing straight toward the real target, and the Germans don't know.
July 9th, 1943, off the coast of Sicily, the Mediterranean sun rises, painting the waves in molten gold. From the deck of HMS Euryalus, Captain Henry Sykes peers through his binoculars at the horizon, heart hammering in anticipation. Below, landing craft churn the sea, their hulls packed with Allied soldiers ready to storm the beaches. The invasion fleet moves like a living machine, engines throbbing, decks brimming with men, guns, and explosives. But on the distant Sicilian shores, the enemy is elsewhere. Entire German and Italian divisions have been shuffled northeast toward Greece, leaving the beaches deceptively quiet. Mines lie hidden beneath the sand. Defensive positions are fewer, artillery scarce. The deception is perfect. You can almost hear the collective breath of the men in landing craft as they grip their rifles, scanning the horizon for the first sign of resistance. Every step, every heartbeat counts. Meanwhile, across the sea, Axis generals gather in hastily constructed command posts along the Greek coast. Panzer. Divisions roar into position, trucks crunching over gravel roads, soldiers unfurling maps in tense anticipation. Hitler's orders, based entirely on Major Martin's forged documents, are executed with robotic precision. Each man believes the Allies' next target is Greece. Colonel von Rohen, still skeptical of the papers, attempts to caution his peers. "We may have been deceived," he warns quietly. "The documents, they are too neatly arranged. This may be a trap." But his voice is lost amid the clatter of boots and the echo of Hitler's certainty. In the German army, obedience trumps suspicion. They are committed, marching toward the Aegean while Sicily waits silently, a stage set for disaster. Back aboard HMS Euryalus, Captain Sykes feels the tension tighten like a vice. From his vantage point, Sicily looks peaceful but every officer knows appearances can be deceiving. He turns to his first officer. "Remember," he says, voice low and urgent, "we trained for weeks for the unexpected. Keep your men alert. Expect the enemy, but don't let them see fear in your eyes." Soldiers check their weapons, straps tighten, helmets adjusted. They are ready for resistance. They are ready for hell.
In London, Montagu and Chumley monitor intercepted messages from Spain. The intelligence trickle confirms every fear and every hope. The Germans have swallowed the bait entirely. Units that should defend Sicily are now scattered across the Balkans. Enemy reconnaissance reports, carefully planted by British double agents, reinforce the illusion of an impending invasion of Greece. Montagu leans back, a rare smile breaking across his face. "They've moved almost every major force eastward," he whispers. "Sicily is practically undefended." Chumley nods. "Corpse, a few forged papers. Ah! And an entire army marches the wrong way. Incredible. And that is the genius of Operation Mincemeat. A dead man floating in Spanish waters has done what months of conventional deception never could: shift the course of armies without a single shot fired. Meanwhile, in Sicily itself, small Axis outposts remain. A handful of Italian infantry huddled behind crumbling walls, machine guns braced. From their vantage, the horizon shimmers with sunlight reflecting off Allied ships. Some glance nervously at the empty beaches beyond, too quiet, too still. Major Giovanni Bianchi mutters, "Where are their tanks? Where are the reinforcements?" He glances at his maps again, confirms what he feared. The bulk of the German forces are gone, redeployed eastward. A cold realization creeps over him. We've been left alone. Why? By the time the High Command realizes their mistake, Allied boots will have made contact with the sand, and Sicily's death trap for Axis commanders will have sprung perfectly. On the Allied ships, landing craft doors begin to drop. Men rush forward, water splashing over their boots, rifles ready, hearts hammering. Explosions from preliminary bombardments echo behind them, artillery and naval gunfire softening the sparse defenses. Captain Sykes grips the rail, shouting commands. Forward. Keep moving. Watch your sectors. The beaches erupt into controlled chaos. Soldiers advance, dodging sporadic machine gun fire. Every footfall a step toward victory. Yet even in these moments of action, the overarching strategy, the brilliance of Mincemeat, casts its shadow. The Axis defenses are scattered, misaligned, misinformed. Every move the Allies make is calculated to exploit the deception, every landing a masterstroke of intelligence-led warfare. For a man who never existed, Major William Martin, the victory is almost surreal. A corpse carried by currents, a ruse executed with impeccable timing, has rewritten the battlefield. And as the first wave of Allied troops secure beachheads, the larger question looms. Will the Germans ever realize they've been outmaneuvered? The trap has sprung. The game is in motion. And the Axis generals, blissfully unaware, are walking straight into the consequences. July 10th, 1943. Sicily, inland from the beaches. Smoke curls over the hills, mingling with the morning haze. Allied forces push inland, meeting only scattered resistance. Captain Henry Sykes squints through his binoculars and shakes his head in disbelief. Tanks appear on the horizon. But not German Panthers or Panzers. Instead, ragged Italian infantry, low on ammunition, retreating under the weight of artillery and machine gun fire. Somewhere, a German officer finally notices the problem. Colonel von Rohen, the skeptic from Berlin, is on a phone call that will haunt him for the rest of the war. "Sir," he says, voice tight, "our divisions most are in Greece. Sicily is almost undefended." On the other end, panic crackles through the line. General Jodel's voice booms. "Impossible! How could this happen?" Von Rohen can barely keep his composure. "I warned you," the documents Major Martin. "It's all a deception." There is silence. Then Jodel's anger erupts. "Fix it. Move reinforcements now." Too late. The invasion has already taken hold. Meanwhile, along the beaches, the Allied infantry push forward, clearing towns and hamlets with methodical precision. Soldiers like Private Tom Williams, soaked in sweat and mud, can barely believe their luck. Resistance is minimal, almost surreal. The deception has stripped away the might of the Axis without a single massive frontal assault. Where are the rest of them? Williams shouts to a fellow soldier. His comrade shakes his head, eyes wide. "I don't know. It's like the Germans vanished." But they haven't vanished. They've been misdirected, lured eastward, and will soon learn the horrifying cost of their misjudgment. Back in Berlin, Hitler furies over reports from Greece. Every document he once trusted, every intelligence officer who assured him the invasion was coming there, now reeks of failure. The Führer pounds his fists against the table, papers scattering like fallen leaves. "Send everything to Sicily," he bellows. "Every division, every reserve, do it immediately." But the logistical nightmare is already too entrenched. Panzer divisions are hundreds of miles away. Supplies, ammunition, even artillery cannot move fast enough. The Allies, meanwhile, exploit every hour, every minute, every miscalculated decision. Montagu in London receives the intercept confirming Hitler's frantic orders. He leans back, eyes gleaming. "They still don't know," he mutters. "And by the time they figure it out, it will be too late." In the Sicilian countryside, Allied forces encounter pockets of resistance, Italian garrisons, and hastily reinforced. German units, but the fighting is localized, fragmented, and easily overcome. Every obstacle has been weakened by the ruse. Soldiers and officers alike marvel at the scale of the operation. Lieutenant James Carter pauses atop a hill, surveying the expanse below. "They were supposed to have tanks here," he mutters. "Dead? This is almost too easy." Across the channel, Montagu imagines the scene unfolding, strategic genius in motion. A single corpse altering the battlefield like a phantom general. A trick played with intelligence, nerves, and timing, not brute force. But the Axis generals are not yet defeated. Panic spreads through Sicily as reinforcements trickle in, disorganized and uncoordinated. Communication lines are overtaxed. Commands are misheard or misinterpreted. Hitler's confidence in intelligence has crumbled, replaced by raw, desperate fury. The deception's brilliance becomes painfully obvious. Armies redeployed. Hundreds of miles in the wrong direction, and an entire front lost before the first major counterattack. The Allied troops, moving relentlessly forward, sense the shift in momentum. The tide of battle, once uncertain, now flows unmistakably in their favor. And yet, as victory looms, Montagu and his team know this is only the beginning. Every advance must be executed carefully. The Germans, furious and humiliated, will fight with vengeance. The trap worked, but the cost of miscalculation by either side could still alter history in unexpected ways. Sicily's beaches, once empty, now teem with the machinery of war soldiers. Artillery, trucks, but the deception that made it possible remains unseen, invisible, a ghostly architect of success. The Axis commanders, finally realizing the scope of the ruse, can only watch helplessly as the Allies consolidate their gains. The mincemeat operation, proving that cunning, timing, and audacity can outmatch the heaviest tanks and the most disciplined armies. July 15th, 1943. Sicilian hills above the coast. The sun hangs low, casting long shadows over the battered yet triumphant Allied lines. Captain Henry Sykes watches his men advance into the final pockets of resistance. The beaches now secured are a testament not only to bravery but to brilliance, the unseen hand of intelligence that shaped the battlefield before a single shell landed. Montagu's eyes scan the reports flowing in from the field. Casualty numbers are remarkably low for such a critical invasion. While Axis troops are disorganized, retreating, or surrendering in bewilderment. The deception has spared countless lives. Single corpse, a few forged papers, and the meticulous orchestration of misinformation have rewritten the Sicilian campaign. Back in Berlin, Hitler seethes with disbelief. Generals stand before him, heads bowed, papers scattered across tables like confetti. Field Marshal Kesselring mutters excuses, blaming faulty reconnaissance and overconfidence. But Hitler's wrath is absolute. They have outsmarted us with a dead man. How could this happen? The room falls silent. The humiliation is profound. Divisions that should have defended Sicily were hundreds of miles away, chasing a phantom threat in Greece. The psychological impact is immediate. The Axis command's credibility has been shattered. Morale plunges even as they regroup. Meanwhile, in London, Montagu allows himself a rare moment of reflection. The gambled audacity of Operation Mincemeat has succeeded beyond imagination, yet he knows the war is far from over. Sicily's capture is pivotal, yes. But the deception as true power lies in its demonstration. Cunning can topple even the most formidable defenses. Across the Mediterranean, Allied forces push forward, using momentum gained from the surprise and disarray to secure key objectives. The success of the operation accelerates the Italian campaign, opening a path to the mainland and ultimately forcing Italy toward surrender. Back on the beaches, soldiers like Private Tom Williams and Lieutenant Carter walk among the wreckage of the minor resistance. The destruction is evident, but the cost is measured, thanks to intelligence-led precision. Carter picks up a tattered map, noting Axis positions that were once heavily defended but now lie abandoned. The Germans didn't even realize it until it was too late, he says quietly. A corpse. A corpse decided the outcome of this battle. The absurdity does not escape him, nor does the awe. War is often a contest of men and machines, yet here, the cleverness of the mind has outweighed both. Ewen Montagu, the architect of the ruse, writes in his journal that night, History will remember the audacity of Operation Mincemeat, not for the bravery of soldiers, though they were magnificent, but for the courage to manipulate reality itself. A dead man walked into legend, and through him we shaped a campaign that changed the course of the Mediterranean War, from skeptical mockery to humiliating reversal. The Axis powers learned too late that not every threat is visible, and not every victory requires brute force. The drowned courier, Major William Martin, became an invisible general. Commanding the battlefield from the depths, unseen, yet supremely effective. The Mediterranean War had turned. Sicily was the gateway, mincemeat the key, and the lessons were eternal. Deception, timing, and intelligence can triumph over even the mightiest armies.